Good afternoon, Year 2, and welcome to Thursday's guided reading. And our starter for today is some word work. Can you read and sound button the words from today's text? So we've got 3 green words here and 2 red words. Pause the video, see if you can read those words. Okay, let's have a look together. Let's sound button the green one. So we've got, let's make my pen a little bit bigger. We've got d, e, s, t, d, s, des, desert, desert. I don't know if you got that one right. Then over here we've got d, u or u, n, s. So is it d, u-ns, dunes, or d-u-ns, dunes? Well done if you said dunes, dunes. And we've got ow, n, t, a, n, s. Oh, that's a very long word, so let's break it up into syllables. We've got ow, n, mount, a, n, s, tains, mountains, mountains. So we say that M part slightly differently, mountains. I see a link between these words, desert, dunes, and mountains. Do you know what dunes are? Those are the hills that you get in sand dunes. So we've got desert, dunes, and mountains. And then we've got 2 red words. So let's just read through these. We won't try and sound button them because they're too tricky. We've got preparing and equator. Let's have a look at our text for today. Oh, wow. Before we go on to the text, we've got an awful lot of blue words. You might have guessed from those red and green words that today we're looking at the section on the geography of Africa. That's where we've got these words to do with the physical features, if you remember our geography lessons, that you might find in a place. And so because we're talking about the geography of a place, we've got an awful lot of place names. We've got the names of some deserts. So just remember, when you're reading a text, if there's place names that you can't read, you don't need to worry too much. You can look them up later on and find out. But at the time, it's not a big problem if you can't read. For example, this one, if you couldn't read what that word said, you could just call it the S desert. And that could be the N desert, and that could be the K desert. But if you can work out what the words say, that's even better because we'd like to know the proper names. So I'm going to read them to you now so that when you're reading the text, hopefully you'll remember some of these names. We've got the Sahara Desert, the Namib Desert, and the Kalahari Desert. So Sahara, Namib, Kalahari. Then over here, these aren't deserts. I wonder if you know what these are. We've got Kilimanjaro and Mount Kenya. Do you know what those are? Those are the names of mountains in Africa. Kilimanjaro and Mount Kenya. And then we've got 3 names of something else. Congo, Niger, and Zambezi. Those are the names of rivers in Africa. So look out for those words in the text. Sahara Desert, Namib Desert, and Kalahari Desert. Mount Kilimanjaro and Mount Kenya. The Congo River, the Niger River, and the Zambezi River. And today we are learning to answer questions about the text. So we're going to start off by looking at a page of the text together and thinking about some questions together. And then your sheet is reading a different section of the text and answering questions about that. And it's all from the same book, Introducing Africa. So you can see that we have got, let me move this question up, 3 questions about this page. Now it's up to you where you start. You might decide to start by looking at the questions and then reading the text. I quite like to do that because sometimes I remember what the questions are as I'm reading. So hopefully on this page, we're going to find out, number 1, what is the weather usually like in Africa? I think I might have some ideas about that already. I wonder if you have. Number 2, what does it mean if the weather is tropical? Tropical, okay. We'll look out for that word tropical in a minute. Number 3, why do you think, oh, this is a different question. This is a why question. Why do you think the author has used captions? Okay, so we'll look out for some captions as well. Weather. In much of Africa, the weather is warm or hot most of the time. That's what I thought. Along the equator, the weather is tropical. Oh, there's that word tropical. It is hot and wet all year round. It rains almost every day in the rainforests. And then we've got a nice picture here. And then we've got this caption to explain what the picture is about. So let's have a look. Trees and other plants grow well in the warm, wet, tropical weather. Oh yeah, you can see, can't you, that it looks quite wet. We know it's warm in Africa. That's what the picture's showing us. So let's have a look at those questions. What is the weather usually like in Africa? What would you say? So that word usually, I saw a word that means the same as that. Did you spot this bit? Most of the time. So what does it say? Let's read that whole sentence. In much of Africa, the weather is warm or hot most of the time. What is the weather usually like in Africa? I'm going to write down warm or hot. Question number 2. What does it mean if the weather is tropical? I saw that word tropical. Let's have a look. Here it is, tropical. So let's read that whole sentence that's got the word tropical in. Along the equator, the weather is tropical. What does it mean if the weather is tropical? We don't know the answer to that yet. Maybe we need to read the next sentence as well. Along the equator, the weather is tropical. It is hot and wet all year round. What does it mean if the weather is tropical? It means that it's hot and wet. So let's write that in. It is hot and wet. We didn't really make that first one a sentence. Should we change that and just make it into a sentence? It, with a capital letter, Mrs. Halligan. It is warm or hot, full stop. What is the weather usually like in Africa? It is warm or hot. What does it mean if the weather is tropical? It is hot and wet. And then we've got this question that's a little bit trickier, I think. Why do you think the author has used captions? So let's go back and look at the caption. Here's the caption. Trees and other plants grow well in the warm, wet, tropical weather. Now, it's not asking me what the caption is. It's asking me why. Why do you think the author has used captions? So my answer is going to start with, I think the author has used, I'm moving myself and not the box, captions because, and that's the key word. If it's a why question, your answer needs to contain a because. Because tells why. I think the author has used captions because. So why has the author used captions? What do you think? How do captions help us? I'm going to put, I think the author has used captions because they explain what the picture is about. Full stop. So let's just check our answers actually answer the question. What is the weather usually like in Africa? It is warm or hot. Yep, that answers the question. What does it mean if the weather is tropical? It is hot and wet. Why do you think the author has used captions? I think the author has used captions because they explain what the picture is about. Good, I'm happy with those answers. Oh, this looks a little bit different. Question 4, complete the table. We've got a table down here. So on this side, we've got, I don't know what these mean yet, but that's okay because I haven't read the text. Grassland season, dry season, wet season, and how often does it rain? So looking at this table, I need to find out the answer to this question. How often does it rain? And because there's 2 spaces to fill in, I think there might be 2 answers to this question. I think there might be one answer for how often does it rain in the dry season, and then one answer here for how often does it rain in the wet season. So shall we read the text together? Nice picture there, no caption this time. Do you think they're zebras? I think they might be. Should we see if we can make it a little bit bigger? Looks like zebras. Look at that cloud in the sky. Oh my goodness, it's definitely raining or about to rain there. In the grasslands, there is a dry season when it never rains and a rainy season when it rains almost every day. Wow. In the deserts, it is dry year round. So it's talking about different places. It's very hot in the daytime, but cold at night. I've heard this about deserts. So in the desert parts of Africa, it is dry all the year round and it's very hot in the daytime and cold at night. But we're not looking at the desert. We're looking at grasslands in this table. This is the grasslands season, dry season and wet season. So that's at the beginning of this paragraph. Here it is. Look, in the grasslands, there is a dry season when it never rains. So dry season, how often does it rain? What am I going to write in that box? Well done if you said never. Never rains in the dry season. And a rainy season when it rains almost every day. So in the wet season, what am I going to write here? How often does it rain? Well done if you said almost every day. Well done. Okay, so let's have a look at what you're going to be doing today. Not lesson 3 this time, it's lesson 2 because we didn't have a lesson on Monday. So your sheet, the 2-star and 3-star sheet, is to answer questions about the geography section of the text. And when you read that, you'll spot these words here. So you might want to replay that bit of the video before you read. I've gone to the wrong page. So you can have a go at answering the questions about this part of the text. Now, if you're doing the 1-star sheet, you are not quite answering questions about the text, but you are going to be matching some of the words from the story. So you have got some pictures here, not story, sorry, the text. You've got some pictures here from the text, and you've got some words. I'd like you to sound button those words carefully first, and then match the picture to the correct caption. Don't forget to email your work in. Good luck, everyone.